the sixth light body level. On the sixth level of light body consciously free themselves of these ideas about reality. At that time, the spirit often put them in contact with people who are in the midst of the process of the light body. It may be that the spirit to drop books off the shelves in your hands. You've had some time this fall experience of books on you in a bookstore? You can go through it at any time. It is one of the preferred ways that the spirit uses to say read this. You begin to receive other information, other ideas about reality. They begin to have a greater understanding of their own reality and how you influence it. Often, in the fifth and sixth levels, you have the feeling that things are not solid. While meditating, maybe you look at the hand and have the impression that it is not solid, or have one of those strange experiments that put his hand against the wall and feel it gives. So you may be experiencing moments of multidimensionality, non-linear thinking and feeling as if nothing was real. This may come as a shock to the kind of person who likes to compartmentalize. All of a sudden, she sees all at once. Then she will have to go back and try to understand how he managed to do it. Some people go through this experience again and again. The mental body begins to profoundly change the way you perceive things. A large number of people leaving the planet in the sixth level of light body, because it happens to be extremely unpleasant for most of them. Do I want to be here? Look at all this? Really wish to participate in this process? Many people choose to retire. It's all right. They live this process in another life. They do not have to live it in all lives. In general, if we help someone overcome the fifth and sixth level, the person shall have the strength to face the challenges. If he chooses not to leave the planet at this point, it usually participates in the process. Be kind to your like. This is a very difficult step because all sense of identity is restructured. When you meet people on the street and they ask you, "What's going on with you? You look great." Tell them that the planet is ascending to the light, that we are in the ascension process. If you want to know more about it, here are some good books to read, or some people you should look for. If you need to talk about it, here's my phone number. Help the people around you. On the sixth level, light body is common for people to undergo a reassessment which is extremely painful. I want to stay here. I want to live. I want to take part of it all. And this phase can be very hard. The person hates work, his life, hates everything and everyone at the same time. On the sixth level, you realize that many people start coming out of your life. It is a period where there is the likelihood of you change jobs, marry, separate, change your circle of friends, as there is a radical change in their way of life and you have the feeling that they are losing their fear of to change. If you resist the changes, the sixth level may continue for up to 1 year and be extremely difficult. But most people learn very quickly to relax and let life flow freely. Other people, who are more in tune with the way of life of you, become part of your life. These people work with you in groups. The removal of the people with whom you live for karmic reasons or obligation may be a little scary. But if you breathe deeply and say, "I wish you all the best and to be happy. See you next time," you will find that will soon start appearing in your life the people with whom you come in fact is in this world. This compensates for all the work, and life starts to get fun. Usually between the sixth and seventh level of light body, you go through what we call the descent of the spirit. This means that most of you are in the higher dimensions inhabits the physical body. This changes everything dramatically. You feel as if they have gone through a tunnel. You have come to a situation in which said perhaps there is a spirit and maybe I try to follow it to the following. I know, in every cell of my being, I am the spirit at work on this planet. and you start to give what we call emotional transition to learn to be the spaciousness of the spirit. About a third of the light body structure is illuminated in this moment in the etheric body. You can often feel as if they were a radiant light, extremely exciting experience. Most of the time, during the 7th level of light body, people's eyes change. You see a deeper level of light radiating from their eyes. And the people who are part of your life begin to relate to nonlinear mode and start to have flashes of telepathy. They begin to have instant communication at levels that communicate all the time, but who have no conscience. You always had the gift of telepathy and clairvoyance. They have always been multidimensional. But the mental body and the brain kept these gifts away from your life. Now the barriers are falling and you begin to make contact with what has always existed. Things start to look normal. There comes a point where there is no further reaction of surprise and discovery, is no longer as the light bulb, but simply I am here. I am/am. I fully here and now. You become the joyful dance dancing with the spirit. It seems that the entire planet and its people are going through a complete reassessment. The polarization of energy is taking place at increasingly high levels. It's almost as if the energy volume was being increased. The planetary polarization is getting bigger. And you realize that those who are beginning to live heaven on earth live alongside those who are living hell on earth. We would like to remind you that all beings are multidimensional divine masters. We would like you learn to have compassion, that has nothing to do with codependency like. Let me take care of you. Compassion is the willingness to do whatever it takes to help someone take your next step. This sometimes requires passing a trick on someone. Sometimes means a wake-up call or a push. And very often involves loving the person in its entirety, both that's already awake as parts that remain dormant. Remember that the first stage of the mission was asleep. Respect those who slept well. Many of the light workers are afraid of what remains dormant in themselves. Begin to disarm this particular part of the pattern of hostility. Of course, you will want to serve the spirit and life and rejoice with it. But to understand how this period was and is difficult for many people. Examine the level of re-evaluation in which they are and understand why we say that this period is what determines whether a person will conclude whether or not this process. This is the point where many people have to decide whether to give up or move on.